Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover on the brand new 2021 Chausson Titanium 648. So starting with walk round on the driver's side of the vehicle. If you open the driver's door, this is where you'll find your tyre pressures for a Ford. So they're just here. And then the key, so you do have central locking on this door, and you open from the bottom, open the cab from the top, and you can use the little keys to either open the door manually or open all the lockers like the cassette, the garage, and so on. You've got your awning light and your fridge vents, your toilet. So if you just pinch, you'll open the locker. Then you need to make sure that the blade on the bottom bowl of the toilet, which I'll explain about the blade when I'm inside the vehicle, is closed. Then you'll be able to lift the orange handle, slide it out. You've got some wheels there, so you can wheel it to the waste disposal point, which is normally behind or beside your toilet and shower room block on site. Then you would remove the grey cap, press the orange button and empty, and then once it's emptied, if you put some water in, just give it a rinse and empty again. And then if you're using the liquid form, you'd fill this as a measuring stick of 120 ml into here. Or if you're using the tablets, you'd put a pint of water in, open the hatch here and drop the tablet just in there. Then you can push it back into the vehicle, and when the T-piece is down like so, it is locked and in place. Walking further back, you've got your external gas point. So you get a gas spigot which connects into here. You'll need a Jubilee clip to connect the spigot to some orange gas hosing, and then a Jubilee clip to connect it to a Kadak or any other gas appliance. And then it uses the bottle that's on the vehicle, and you just turn on and off, and it saves you having to carry a spare bottle. Behind the wheel is where you'd find your waste water outlet. So you'd pull here, and then this is drain. So again, you drive over a special place on site and drop your wastewater. So this is anything you put down the sink, but it's very important in the winter months you drain the waste, the fresh, and then I'll go into that in more detail once I'm inside. Come to the back of the vehicle, so you've got your garage locks. So again, locks and unlocks with the key, pull the handles, and you've got some space here. So this bed does go up and down, which I'll show you from inside how to do that. So you can increase your height in the garage. If you've got a bike, you've got a light switch here. You've got your silver screens which go on the outside of the vehicle and clip round the mirrors. This is great for reflecting the heat or keeping the heat in the winter. But it does have carb blinds. You've got your living carpet, and you've got your winder for your awning. And as you can see here, you've got some tethering points, so if you want to tie your load down to stop it moving, you can do. And it's heated by the diesel heater. You've got 12 volt and 240 volt socket in the garage. You've got access from the back of the vehicle, so if you wanted to get something out the back, you can do. You've got your high level brake light and rear view camera. The bar there is just where the body's been strengthened to take a bike rack. You'd put another bar down here if you wanted the bike rack fitted. And then on the bottom, these little spaces here are for if you do want parking sensors fitted in the future. As it doesn't come with them, you can have them fitted there and it looks like a factory fitted parking sensor. Here you do have your LPG, so liquid petroleum gas. This is a gas locker, and in there is where your gas bottle lives. So it's a 6 kilogram propane bottle in here, and what you need to do is you need an adjustable wrench or a gas spanner. It's a left hand thread to get the pigtail on, so opposite threads with being gas, left to tighten, right to loosen. Nip it up, and then you turn on and off at the top of the bottle. Always turn it off when you're traveling and turn it on when you arrive on site to use gas. And then when you are traveling, once it's in situ, if you just tie it in with the black straps provided. And then coming further down, so next to your gas locker, you've got your vent for your Truma heater. So this is your, just to allow the fumes out from the diesel heater. And then this is where your external shower point connects into. So in the van, you'll have a hose with a trigger gun on the end, just pushes into there. You've got to have the pump on for this to operate, as it will bring the water to the tap, i.e. the shower. It's only a cold water feed, but it's great if you've been somewhere muddy with the dogs or the bikes, or you've been on the beach, you can just hose them off. In here is what's known as your Techni Box. So your Techni Box locker houses your freshwater fill up and all your electrical consumer unit this side. So I'll start with the water. So if you want to fill with water, you'd really take this cover off, put a hose pipe in there and fill it until it either overflowed, which means you've got a full tank, or until you're happy you've got enough water on board, which you can see on the main control panel, which I'll go into when I'm inside. If you're going wild camping, you'll have to take a full tank of water with you. If you're going to a site, tend to take a maximum of 20 litres, as this gives you the option of using the toilet or stopping for a cup of tea if you're on a long drive, but it still makes you light on diesel and gives you a better payload. There's a little toggle here which is called your travel drain, and what that does is it releases it. Say you've got a full tank of water and you just want to keep a maximum of 20 litres. If you just lift this up, it'll start draining out underneath the van, but you've got to have the pump on and open a tap inside for this to then start kicking out underneath the van, otherwise it won't come out. So pump on, tap open when this is lifted, and this will drain it from 100% to 20. But if you wanted to drain it fully, or you wanted to remove that extra 20 litres, i.e. in the winter you wouldn't want it to freeze because these are just plastic tanks and plastic pipes, you'd have to go underneath the van, and here there on the end of the blue pipe there coming through the floor is a 15mm plumber's push fit compression fitting. You'll just pull that off and that'll drain out the rest of the water. You can remove the big cap when the tank's empty to clean once a season. And on this side you've got your trips, so everything to do with mains hookup 240, so your RCDs and your MCBs. So if you trip the vehicle out, try here before you try where you're plugged into. And on this side you've got all your 12-volt fuses, so they all are listed there, but I would carry some spares just in case one does blow. It'll not ruin your holiday, you can just put another fuse in. And then next to it you'll see you've got your mains connectivity point. So we're always advised that you hook the vehicle up first. So you get your hookup lead, lift it, slide it on there, hook the motorhome up first, then walk to your site, and in reverse take the site out first, then the motorhome. But when unhooking, if you just press this blue lever on the left hand corner to unhook. Now at the passenger side of the cab, so you've got your easy fill diesel system, so there's no cap to take off. You just push the filler in there and fill with diesel. And below you've got your AdBlue. So your AdBlue tanks between 15 and 20 litres on a Ford. So I think it's about 19 if I'm being honest with you. You would remove the cap, fill with AdBlue, which you can get at most service stations, petrol stations now, as a lot of new diesel engines take it because it's Euro 6 compliant, and wagons. Fill up, you'll get a warning on the dash when it needs it. It'll say AdBlue range, it'll give you a 1,000-mile countdown on a Ford. What I'd do is as soon as it comes on, try and top it up. Don't allow that miles to start counting down thinking you're safe, because you're not. It's only safe for a certain length of that time. If it goes to half or zero, the engine won't start. Half, it will then go into limp mode and restrict the vehicle to 50 miles an hour to protect the engine. So like I say, top it up as soon as it comes on, and then it's nothing to worry about. You will get around 3,500 to 5,000 mile on an AdBlue tank. You've got your, underneath the seat is where your leisure battery lives. So your leisure battery lives underneath the seat, and if you just pull the seat forward, just behind the seat, you'll see that you've got your tyre compression kit, so for inflating, and your quick fix and go kit, so it's got the gel there to go in the tyre. But like I say, if you've got a small puncture and you can just top it up with air and limp yourself off a road to the nearest tyre shop, try doing that before you put the gel in the tyre, because once you put the gel in the tyre is then needs to be replaced, and it could just be that your tyre just needs to be repaired and it doesn't need replaced. And obviously it'll save you a bit of money. Now coming to underneath the bonnet. So with a Ford you use the key. So you put the key in the front there, you turn to your left hand side first to pop the bonnet, but then to release the bonnet you turn it to your right hand side. I'll pop the hood there, and you've got your various liquids under here. So first of all you've got your radiator fluid, then you've got your oil filler and oil dipstick down here, the yellow one. Brake fluid, and the main one you're going to need is your screen wash. But should you want to jump start the vehicle, your positive's underneath this red cover here, and your negative you'd earth off the engine hoist there. This is your weight plate, so 3.5 ton vehicle weight, 3.5 ton gross vehicle weight. These vehicles can tow, but you have to get a Trigano tow bar, so you'd have to order a tow bar through your dealer. You couldn't go to a tow bar shop, because if you were pulled by the police and they checked your plate, you've got no towing weight. So if you did want one, you'd have to order one through us or your local Chausson agent. But on the Fords, the towing weight's only 750 kilograms, as the Ford is automatic. Should it be manual, you'll get a lot more, but the new ones are only automatic. So once inside the vehicle, this is your main control panel. So you've got your heating and hot water here, but you've got your main 12 volt panel here. So I'll start off with the 12 volt panel, as this is the first thing you'd put on when you get into the vehicle. So first of all, it tells you here if you're hooked up. So we are, because we've got the green light on. So this is your on off switch. So it'll give you 12 volt if you're not hooked up. If you are hooked up, it'll give you mains to 40 volt. Then you've got all your lights, so your main master switch for your lights, and they all are individually switched. So as you can see, put your little blues there on the bottom rocker switch, and on the top one you've got your kitchen and your mirror light. Put your pump here, so should you want to use that external shower, the shower inside the vehicle, the hand basin tap, the kitchen tap, you need to put the pump on. But you can only put the pump on should you have enough water in the tank, so do just check, but I'll tell you how to check it in a moment. So I wouldn't put it on if you don't have any water in the tank, as it can burn the motor out. You've got your awning light, which is the light above the door, and then these buttons here correspond with these ones here. So the top one is of the truck, so it looks like your truck. So this is a Ford engine battery, which is the second one in. It says that you've got enough in your Ford battery there. First one is of a trailer, which is your motorhome battery. There, it's in the green. And then you've got your water, so that's your fresh water here. When that goes red, it indicates that it's going empty, and when this one goes red, it indicates the waste is full and needs to be changed. So that's when you would pull the handle at the back wheel on this side. So this is your Truma control panel. So to turn on, you would just press and hold, and you'll get this screen, and then you would press to enter. And you've got a motorhome with a thermometer in the far left hand corner. This is the temperature of the vehicle, so you can have it all the way to off, all the way up to 30 degrees. So once you're happy, you just press enter. So we'll just set this at 24 degrees. So that's set the heating at 24 degrees. Next one is your water. So if you don't have any water in the tank, don't put it on. Eco is at 40 degrees, hot's at 60, and boost will turn off the heating, prioritize the water, and then turn the heating back on. So for this, we'll just say hot. So you'd normally use eco for showering, hot for doing your dishes, and boost if you wanted to prioritize your water. Moving on, you've got a gas bottle and electricity symbol there. This is what source you want to run off. So you can have it on fuel on its own, and Chausson have got diesel heating, so if you're wild camping you can just use diesel. You can have a mixture of 1 kilowatt of electric and diesel, so there's no gas on this. A mixture of 2 kilowatts and diesel. You'd use this one more in the winter to get the vehicle up to temperature, and then you turn off the diesel if you're on a site and use the electric. And you've got electric on 1 kilowatt and electric on 2. So just depending on what output your site gives you, but normally you would use electric on 2. So for this we'll just say a mix 2. We'll get everything up to temperature quick for you. You've got your fan, so you can have it on eco or high. So you'd have it on high if you were on hookup, but you'd have it on eco if you wanted to preserve that 12 volt leisure battery, because it's just a 12 volt fan. Coming down to the bottom corner, you've got a timer, so you can time the heating to come on and off. You've got the clock, so when the clocks go back and forth you can set the time on the panel if you wanted to know what time it was. And then should you get a warning triangle in the middle, you go to the spanner in the bottom right, go to reset, press reset by this button here. It'll come up preset, press preset, and then it will reset the control panel, and you'd have to go back in and set the water, the temperature, the source, and so on. And then to turn off you just press and hold. To operate your Thetford slimline fridge with freezer compartment, you turn on and off here, so the little light you'd press and hold, and then A stands for automatic energy selection, and you can see there it's gone to the plug, which indicates that we're on electric hookup, mains 240 volt. You put your cable in. A is automatic, so what it does is the brain of the fridge knows what source is best to go on. So if I was to take the hookup out now and the gas is open, which it is, it would switch over to gas and self-ignite. If I was then to start the engine, it would switch over to the battery setting, which is a 12 volt feed from the alternator, which turns the fridge into a cool box, so it keeps it at the same temperature it was previously set at. So with this setting, you would, if you're lucky enough to keep this at home, or you took it up a day or two before, put your shopping in the night before, allow that to chill, and then if it was on automatic, it'll do it itself. But if you wanted to manually change it, you could just press the square button there. See there, it's gone to battery code 6 and it's failed because the engine's not running. Or you can go to gas and self-ignite, but just leave it on automatic and it'll do its own thing. Got your temperature here, but you can use the battery setting as well if you've travelled from one site to another and you've got a full shopping in the fridge. One thing with the automatic is, if you were to pull up at a petrol station and get diesel, obviously it's not finding an electric hookup, it's not finding 12 volts, but if you've left your gas open, it is finding gas. It's designed to wait 20 minutes before lighting on gas, so if you do get to a site and you switch the engine off and you're wild camping and you think, why is the fridge not lighting, if you just take it off automatic and put it on manual, it will then soon fire up if the gas is open. And then once you've finished with the fridge for the season, if you do take anything that's remaining in there out, give it a wipe down with some anti-bac, and then if you just pull this little blue toggle out halfway, it stops the door from closing, and just leave it ajar and it'll allow air circulation in and out of the fridge. In the cupboard above the fridge, this customer has fitted a status 570 TV aerial, so 570. So you've got your booster there, so you can boost and bring the signal and weaken the signal should it be too strong, you're getting too much interference, and green means you've found a signal. So you don't need to push it up if you've found a signal, but should you struggle, what you can do is you can loosen the nut, push the stem up the vehicle, and use the toggle to direct the aerial on the roof. But a tip here is to look where the other motorhomes and caravans are pointing on your site. As long as you get a green light, you've got a signal. Always make sure the stem is pulled down and it's tightened fast, securely when travelling, so it's fastened. And they've also fitted a Avtex 9 Series Pro TV. So there's a little toggle on this side of the telly here where you'd press to allow it to come on. so you can have it on standby, but that does go off with the 12-volt panel, so you may just want to leave that button on. And then you get your remote, turn your TV on, you get the blue light, and then each time you go to a site you would need to retune your telly, and to do so you press the AQT button here, big orange one, and it'll do an auto tune. So if you just press and hold like so, obviously there's it working, but I'll show you your auto tune. Press and hold, it'll ask you what country you're in, so automatically set the UK, just press OK, it'll do an auto tune and find as many channels as it can. Failing that, you can use the source button here and you can put a DVD in, or if you wanted to get a satellite fitted to the vehicle in the future, these tellies are satellite ready. Or if you've got any other devices like Fire Sticks or now TV boxes, they do take a HDMI, which is on this side. So now in the kitchen area, so you've got your electric hot plate here on your hob, which is indicated by the red light when it's on and off, but this will only work when you're hooked up on mains 240 volt. Got one gas burner and another, like so. Allow the top to cool after you've used the hob before you put the glass lid down, and then below you've got your oven, and above you've got your grill there. You may want to take your oven shelf and grill pan out when travelling, but if you, with your oven shelf, if you always make sure that the funny shaped bit goes to the back, this is designed to stop the burner being blocked, so make sure you use it that way. And below you've got your grill pan. You may want to just wrap this up or remove it and pack it away, because it can be a bit rattly when on the road. You've got storage here, cutlery drawer, and then you've got your 240 volt socket there, which some people turn this socket around just on its side, as if you've got a big plug that's got a big chunky bit on the bottom, it can stop you getting into the cutlery drawer, so that's just a tip for you there. You've got your bed switch, which I'll get onto in a moment, and you've got two USBs. Little hooks there and a little stand for, it's designed for an iPad or a cookbook when you're cooking. Storage in here, and then this is the light switch that's in the ceiling above the bed for the people that are sleeping up there. And you've got this styled skylight, so you just turn to open for ventilation when cooking. Always make sure they're shut when travelling though, and then you do have a blackout blind there that just clips in for on an evening. So this bed goes up and down depending on what you've got in the garage, and to do so the handle lives on the inside of the bed. So if you put the handle in situ like I have here, you can then wind the bed down. As you can see, it's coming down, or you can wind it up and wind it up. To its highest position there, and then you've still got access to the garage through the bed, and as you can see it's a belt driven system for the easy bed with the winder, and then the handle would just live in here, so you can just pop it in there or put it away somewhere neatly, which is here. So there's two little toggles there, so you can clips, and it'll just clip in into storage just there, like so. You'll also notice there's two gas taps here, so this is for the fridge and the cooker, so should you have any problems you can turn these off, but these are mainly for when the vehicle is habitation serviced yearly. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. Your boiler lives under here, so it does get nice and warm. If you've got any extra bedding, you can store it this side, put it on there in the winter. But just underneath this flap in the floor, which is here, is where your pump lives and where your winterization valve is for your boiler. So your pump's there, this is your winterization for your boiler. So when the diamond is front to back like it is now, it is holding water, and there's a button just down the bottom here that's pushed in. It's holding water. If you wanted to drop the water, which we advise that you do when you're not using the vehicle, especially in the winter when it's colder months, as if you didn't drop it, you're not covered for frost damage with your warranty, and the boiler is very expensive. What you do is you just nib it pop out, button it pop out, and you'll hear the water draining directly underneath the chassis. So turn it and press the button to hold water, turn it the other way, the button will pop out and drain the 10 litres out of the boiler. So do that in the winter, as it's very important. If you don't, it can be a costly mistake. Then you'd open all the taps within the vehicle, you'd pull the bung off the fresh water, you'd open the waste, and you'd take your shower head off and allow your shower hose to lie in your shower tray. So on the 648, you've got your island bed, got your washroom at this side and shower this side. So I'll start off with the washroom. So if you make sure the pump's on, what you'll then be able to do is press the blue button, which flushes the toilet. As you can see, there's water in there. What you need to do is flush the toilet first before you. So to make the two other travelling seats in the smart lounge, which are both sides, what you need to do is remove your cushions, but keep the base cushion and keep the big backrest. It's the two you want. The little two you can put away in the wardrobe or on the bed if you're travelling. And then what you do is pull this back, this slides up, and as you can see, you've got Isofix, so should you be taking grandchildren or children away with you that are in car seats, you can connect the car seats there through Isofix. You'd use the base cushion back on the base of the seat, and the back there, obviously pull the seat belt through first, put the back just under there, and then your headrest just lives in front of it, and that just clips on there. That's the same the other side as well, on how to make your smart lounge. And then to drop your bed, use the switch here. And it'll come down as far as that. You've got underneath, you'll find your ladder and your nets, which are security nets if you've got small children up there, which just clip onto the eyelets here and the eyelets in the ceiling, just to stop them rolling out during the night. But always remove your pillars, tuck your duvet into the side, and then you push it back up. Like I said, your light above there, little switch on the side here, brings that on and off. You do have control of whether that switch works or not by the key here, so you can turn it off. So should children be playing with the switch and you worry that it's going to hurt somebody, you can isolate the switch by the key, which is just here. And if the motor did fail on electric or the battery ran out and you had the bed up or down, you can take the cover off, use the winding handle that's supplied in the vehicle pack from the dealership and wind, and it'll bring the bed up or down. Your table, to drop your table, there's a red little toggle here, and what you do is you need to push it and then push your body weight down on the table itself. If you push your body weight down on it and then click in, and you can have it as a coffee table or you can have it as a dining table. And obviously it does extend by pulling this out, and then you can just pull the top over and then pop the table back up. Like so. and then you can push it back and forth. So if you wanted it to go in the cab, you can push it in the cab, or you can push it into the back of the van. So now in the cab, to the right of the driver, you have the handbrake, which is a fold-away handbrake, so always pull it up first, then press your button in, and obviously your light will go off at the bottom of the speedo there, and then you'll hear it ratchet back up. On the doors you've got your Remus car blinds, and the same on the windscreen, so you'd pinch them, slide them along. These cut away behind on this one, so and then they'll clip together.